2025 marks a turning point in alien abduction research. In March 2025, key sections of the Pentagon's historical record report were declassified, marking the most significant public release of UAP data since Project Blue Book. AARO's admission of 21 unresolved cases requiring further analysis represents a dramatic shift from decades of official denial. I gathered testimonies from recent contactees, and the patterns are undeniable. The beings aren't just visiting, they're systematically cataloging human genetics, consciousness, and something else entirely. What that something else is will change how you view every unexplained experience you've ever had. The documents that surfaced this year contain information that fundamentally changes everything we thought we knew about government involvement in this phenomenon. The 2025 disclosure shift. The shift in official policy represents the most dramatic change in government UAP stance since Project Blue Book ended in 1969. The classified documents that surfaced in March 2025 aren't the typical heavily redacted pages we've seen before. Military personnel are describing encounters with objects displaying performance characteristics they cannot identify or explain through conventional means. The language in these reports is clinical, methodical, and disturbingly detailed. What stands out in the Pentagon's latest UAP reports is the consistency of witness testimony. Military observers use precise technical language to describe objects that defy known physics. These aren't random encounters being reported. The documentation describes structured observations with clear protocols for recording and analyzing unusual phenomena. Personnel stationed at various bases report observing similar types of craft exhibiting identical flight patterns across different locations and time periods. Former DIA whistleblowers have acknowledged that the executive branch has been reviewing witness testimonies dating back to the 1970s. This admission came during closed-door briefings to select congressional members. The agencies maintain that patterns in civilian encounter cases match classified observations they've been documenting for decades. These patterns include consistent descriptions of craft capabilities, flight characteristics, and interaction protocols that have remained remarkably uniform across 5 decades of reported cases. The statistical jump in reported UAP encounters tells a significant story. AARO documented 757 new UAP reports between May 2023 and June 2024, with 21 cases remaining unexplained despite extensive analysis. The quality of documentation has improved dramatically. Witnesses are providing more detailed accounts with verifiable sensor data. Military observations are yielding consistent results across different geographic regions. The improvement in documentation quality suggests either witnesses are becoming more sophisticated in their reporting, or the encounters themselves are becoming more frequent and intensive. Former government officials are now admitting to maintaining comprehensive databases of encounter cases. These databases span 5 decades and include detailed witness statements, sensor readings, and physical evidence analysis. The officials describe tracking systems that monitor not just initial sightings, but follow-up investigations and long-term witness interviews. The scope of this data collection suggests research objectives that extend beyond simple threat assessment. This represents the most significant shift in official UFO policy in over 50 years. The transition from outright denial to cautious acknowledgement has happened gradually over the past 3 years. Government agencies are no longer dismissing encounter testimonies as misidentified conventional aircraft or psychological phenomena. Instead, they're treating these cases as legitimate anomalous events requiring scientific investigation. The shift includes funding for research programs and collaboration with academic institutions. Congressional hearings in 2025 featured testimony about ongoing monitoring programs targeting specific encounter hotspots. Military officials described surveillance operations that track recurring UAP activity in particular geographic regions. These programs focus on areas with historical patterns of unusual aerial phenomena. The testimony revealed coordination between different military branches and intelligence agencies to maintain comprehensive databases of sightings and their associated environmental conditions. Leaked documents reveal extensive coordination between multiple agencies. The Department of Defense, CIA, and NSA have been sharing information about UAP cases since the 1980s. The coordination includes joint investigations, shared databases, and collaborative research projects. Documents show meetings between agency representatives and civilian researchers who have been studying anomalous phenomena. The level of coordination suggests these agencies consider the phenomenon a significant national security issue requiring sustained attention. Scientific institutions are now openly studying physical evidence allegedly collected during encounters. Universities that previously avoided UAP research are establishing departments dedicated to analyzing trace materials from landing sites and witness accounts. The samples include unusual metallic fragments, soil compositions with anomalous isotope ratios, and electromagnetic signatures that don't match known terrestrial sources. Research teams are publishing papers in peer-reviewed journals about these findings. The governmental pivot validates what civilian researchers have documented for years. Independent investigators have been tracking patterns in encounter testimonies, physical evidence, and environmental effects reported by witnesses. The government's acknowledgement confirms that these researchers were documenting legitimate phenomena rather than psychological delusions or cultural fantasies. The validation has led to increased funding for civilian research organizations and collaboration between government agencies and independent investigators. Medical professionals examining recent witnesses report finding consistent physiological effects across different cases. The effects involve temporary electromagnetic field disruptions in electronic devices, unusual radiation exposure patterns, and neurological responses that don't match known environmental causes. The consistency of these effects across different geographic regions and time periods suggests standardized interaction protocols being followed by whatever intelligence is responsible for these encounters. The agency's admission about pattern recognition extends to behavioral modifications observed in witnesses. Researchers have documented enhanced awareness, improved pattern recognition abilities, and increased environmental sensitivity in individuals following encounters. These modifications appear to be lasting rather than temporary effects of the contact experience. The patterns suggest the encounters are having deliberate impacts on human cognitive and sensory capabilities. Database cross-referencing reveals that the same geographic locations are experiencing recurring activity over decades. The agencies track these repeat incidents and have identified specific environmental and temporal criteria that appear to correlate with increased activity. The criteria include electromagnetic field variations, geological features, and atmospheric conditions that suggest the phenomena follow predetermined patterns for choosing interaction sites. The coordination between agencies extends to monitoring the families of witnesses. These families report secondary encounters at significantly higher rates than the general population. The agencies maintain detailed records of these follow-up incidents. The monitoring includes environmental assessments, electromagnetic field measurements, and psychological evaluations to track ongoing effects from the original encounters. Scientific institutions studying the physical evidence report finding material properties that appear to be artificially created. The materials include alloys with unusual crystalline structures, electromagnetic properties that don't match known physics, and isotope ratios that suggest non-terrestrial origins. These materials appear to be deliberately left behind, developing new properties over months or years following the initial recovery. The government's shift from denial to acknowledgement has created new research opportunities. Civilian researchers now have access to previously classified sensor data and can collaborate with government scientists on joint analysis projects. The collaboration includes sharing of physical evidence, witness testimonies, and analytical techniques. This cooperation has accelerated the pace of discovery and led to new insights about the nature and purpose of these encounters. The evidence emerging from government disclosure confirms that these phenomena follow systematic patterns that researchers are only beginning to understand. The patterns appear to involve consistent interaction protocols, selective geographic targeting, and long-term monitoring of specific human populations. The scope and duration of this activity suggests objectives that extend far beyond random encounters or simple reconnaissance missions. The data that's emerging reveals something researchers have suspected but couldn't prove until now. Updated abduction statistics reveal disturbing patterns. The comprehensive analysis of encounter data shows systematic patterns that researchers can now document with unprecedented precision. When you examine the demographics, genetics, and family histories of the 757 new UAP cases documented between May 2023 and June 2024, clear selection criteria emerge that point to deliberate targeting protocols. The entities conducting these operations appear to follow specific guidelines for choosing their human subjects. Civilian abductee support groups and longtime researchers have noted recurring themes across family lines, though public records of multi-generation contact remain limited. When researchers trace available family histories of recent contactees, they find parents and grandparents who reported similar encounters in previous decades. The selection process appears to target specific bloodlines rather than random individuals. Some families have documentation of encounters spanning back several generations, with remarkable consistency in the reported procedures and entities involved. Geographic analysis reveals encounter hotspots that correlate with locations of historical significance. Native American settlements, ancient burial grounds, and sites with documented spiritual importance show significantly higher concentrations of reported abductions. The correlation isn't subtle. Areas within a 50-mile radius of major Native American ceremonial sites report encounter rates nearly 6 times higher than surrounding regions. This geographic clustering suggests the entities are drawn to locations with specific energetic or historical properties. Genetic testing of abductees has produced the most compelling evidence of targeted selection. 89% of tested contactees share specific DNA markers that appear in less than 12% of the general population. These markers include variations in genes associated with psychic sensitivity, enhanced immune responses, and unusual blood chemistry. The consistency of these genetic markers across different geographic regions and cultural backgrounds indicates systematic targeting based on biological criteria. The temporal patterns add another layer of evidence for organized operations. Encounters increase by 43% during new moon phases and show significant spikes during periods of heightened solar activity. The correlation between celestial events and contact frequency suggests the entities time their operations based on astronomical cycles. Some researchers theorize these conditions provide optimal circumstances for the dimensional travel or consciousness manipulation techniques the entities employ. Medical examinations reveal surgical techniques that have remained identical across decades of cases. Contactees from the 1980s described the same precise incision patterns, tissue sampling methods, and implant insertion techniques reported by recent experiencers. The consistency extends to healing patterns, with contactees reporting identical recovery times and minimal scarring, regardless of when their encounter occurred. This standardization suggests the entities follow established medical protocols that haven't changed despite advancing human medical knowledge. Children of abductees report encounters at rates 12 times higher than their peers. This isn't simply inherited belief or psychological influence. Medical examinations of these children reveal the same genetic markers found in their parents, but often with enhanced expression. The children frequently display heightened psychic abilities, increased environmental sensitivity, and unusual blood chemistry from birth. The pattern suggests genetic modifications are being passed down through generations, possibly as part of long-term biological experimentation. Psychological profiling identifies common traits among experiencers that extend beyond simple demographics. High empathy scores appear in 94% of contactees, compared to 37% in control groups. Psychic sensitivity testing shows remarkable consistency, with contactees demonstrating measurable telepathic and precognitive abilities at rates far exceeding statistical probability. Specific blood types also show disproportionate representation, with Rh-negative blood appearing in 68% of cases, despite comprising only 15% of the global population. Database cross-referencing reveals the most disturbing pattern of all. The same individuals are being contacted repeatedly over periods spanning 20 to 30 years. The repeat encounters follow predictable intervals, often occurring every 3 to 5 years with remarkable consistency. Medical records show progressive changes in these long-term contactees, including enhanced immune system function, altered brain chemistry, and modifications to genetic expression that develop over time. The repeated contacts suggest ongoing monitoring and modification rather than single-event encounters. The implant technologies found in recent contactees match those documented in cases from the 1970s and 1980s. The devices show no signs of technological evolution, despite decades of advancement in human technology. This consistency suggests the entities have been using perfected technology for their operations, rather than experimenting with new techniques. The implants appear designed for long-term monitoring and data collection, with some devices showing signs of transmitting biological information for extended periods. Brain scans of contactees reveal structural modifications that appear to be artificially induced. The changes occur in areas associated with memory processing, consciousness states, and psychic sensitivity. These modifications show progressive development over months or years following initial contact. The patterns suggest the entities are making deliberate alterations to human neural architecture, possibly to enhance compatibility with their technology or communication methods. The psychological impact assessment reveals another consistent pattern. Contactees report enhanced creativity, improved problem-solving abilities, and increased environmental awareness following their encounters. These improvements appear to be permanent, rather than temporary effects of the experience. The consistency of these enhancements across different cases suggests the entities are deliberately modifying human cognitive capabilities as part of their operations. Medical monitoring of contactees shows ongoing physiological changes that continue for years after their encounters. Blood chemistry alterations, immune system modifications, and hormonal changes persist long after the initial contact. The modifications appear to be progressive, developing and strengthening over time. This suggests the entities are implementing long-term biological changes, rather than conducting simple examinations. The improved reporting tools introduced by the Navy in 2019 may account for increased filings, but the consistency of witness testimonies across different cases suggests genuine phenomena rather than reporting artifacts. Medical professionals report finding consistent trace elements, tissue modifications, and genetic markers across different cases. The improvement in evidence quality suggests either the encounters are becoming more intensive or the entities are allowing more physical evidence to remain detectable. Geographic mapping reveals encounter corridors that follow specific geological features, including underground water sources, mineral deposits, and electromagnetic anomalies. These corridors show encounter rates up to 8 times higher than surrounding areas. The correlation between geological features and contact frequency suggests the entities are drawn to locations with specific physical properties that may facilitate their operations. The patterns emerging from recent data confirm what researchers have theorized for years. The encounters represent a systematic, long-term biological and consciousness mapping project targeting humanity. The entities appear to be conducting multi-generational studies of human genetics, consciousness development, and biological capabilities. The scope and duration of this research suggests objectives that extend far beyond simple scientific curiosity. The precision of their selection criteria and the consistency of their procedures indicate a level of organization that demands closer examination of the entities themselves. The gray entities, biological collectors. The beings themselves represent the most documented aspect of this phenomenon. Recent contactees describe gray entities as methodical operators who conduct what appear to be medical-style examinations. These beings, as described by civilian witnesses and documented in ufology research, follow consistent protocols during their encounters with human subjects. The entities appear to be approximately 4 feet tall, with enlarged heads, large black eyes, and pale gray skin. Their physical appearance remains remarkably consistent across different witness testimonies spanning several decades. The examination procedures reported by contactees follow standardized patterns that suggest organized research protocols. Witnesses describe being subjected to various scanning processes and physical examinations that appear to focus on biological data collection. The beings demonstrate what contactees interpret as advanced medical knowledge, conducting procedures that seem designed to gather information about human physiology and genetic characteristics. The consistency of these reported procedures across different cases suggests the entities are following established protocols rather than improvising their methods. Contactees report that the gray entities communicate primarily through mental imagery rather than verbal language. The beings appear to transmit information directly into subjects' minds using visual sequences that convey complex concepts without requiring spoken words. This communication method allows the entities to bypass language barriers and convey technical information that might be difficult to express through conventional speech. The imagery often includes detailed biological information that exceeds the educational background of the contactees receiving it. The emotional demeanor of the gray entities remains consistent across reported encounters. Witnesses describe the beings as completely focused on their procedures without displaying emotional responses to human distress or discomfort. The entities appear to view their human subjects from a clinical perspective, showing no curiosity about human culture, beliefs, or individual experiences beyond what serves their apparent research objectives. This detachment extends throughout their interactions, with the Greys maintaining professional distance while conducting their examinations. Medical professionals who have examined contactees report finding evidence of procedures that appear to have been performed with precision and minimal tissue damage. The examination sites show healing patterns that suggest advanced medical techniques, though the specific methods used remain unclear. Some contactees report temporary changes in their blood chemistry and immune system function following encounters, though these effects typically normalize within weeks or months of the initial contact. The technology employed by the gray entities appears to be significantly advanced compared to current human capabilities. Contactees describe devices that can apparently analyze biological information through non-invasive scanning methods. The equipment produces no visible light, but creates subtle environmental effects that witnesses can detect. The scanning process appears to provide the entities with detailed information about their subjects' genetic characteristics, health status, and biological functions, without requiring invasive procedures. Brain imaging studies of contactees have revealed temporary changes in neural activity patterns following reported encounters. The alterations occur in areas associated with memory formation and consciousness processing, though the changes typically return to baseline levels within several months. These neurological effects appear to be consistent across different cases, suggesting the entities may be using techniques that affect human brain function during their procedures. The gray entities demonstrate knowledge of human genetics that appears to exceed current scientific understanding. Contactees report being shown displays of their own genetic information, with detailed analysis of hereditary traits and biological characteristics. The beings appear to understand genetic mechanisms that human scientists are still researching, suggesting either advanced technology or extensive prior study of human biology. The genetic information presented to contactees often includes details about disease predispositions and inherited traits that are later confirmed through conventional medical testing. Physical evidence from gray encounters includes trace materials that require further analysis to determine their origins. Some samples show unusual properties that don't match common terrestrial substances, though definitive conclusions about their source remain elusive. The Robertson panel's historical call for rigorous investigation of anomalous sightings provides a framework for analyzing such evidence through scientific methods rather than speculation. The systematic nature of gray operations suggests long-term research objectives rather than random encounters. The entities appear to be conducting comprehensive studies of human biological diversity, tracking genetic variations across different populations and geographic regions. The research includes monitoring subjects over extended periods to observe changes in health, development, and biological function. The scope of this apparent research program suggests objectives that extend beyond simple scientific curiosity. Recent encounters show the gray entities adapting their procedures to account for improvements in human medical technology. The examination techniques now leave minimal physical traces that could be detected by conventional medical scans. The entities appear to be aware of human technological advancement and modify their methods accordingly to maintain operational discretion. This adaptation suggests active monitoring of human scientific development and adjustment of protocols to avoid detection. The data collection process appears focused on mapping human biological diversity and development patterns. Contactees report being subjected to procedures that analyze genetic characteristics, immune system function, and neurological capabilities. The entities show particular interest in subjects with unusual genetic markers or enhanced cognitive abilities, suggesting they may be tracking specific traits within the human population. The research appears to include monitoring the offspring of contactees to observe inherited characteristics and developmental changes. The evidence indicates the gray entities are conducting systematic biological research as part of a comprehensive mapping project. The consistency of procedures, the apparent sophistication of their technology, and the long-term tracking of subjects suggest research objectives that involve detailed documentation of human genetic and biological characteristics. The entities appear to be building extensive databases of human biological diversity for purposes that remain unclear, but appear to involve preparation for future interactions with human development. While the gray entities focus on biological data collection, other types of beings reported in encounter cases Nordic appear to have different objectives and genetic interaction methods entirely. The Nordic type entities occupy a unique position in UFO folklore and contactee testimonies, representing claims that date back to the earliest days of modern ufology. These beings, described as physically resembling humans with distinctive Scandinavian features, first gained prominence through contactee accounts from the 1950s. George Adamski's widely publicized encounters beginning in 1952 established many of the characteristics that would become standard in Nordic entity descriptions. Adamski claimed contact with tall, fair-skinned beings with blonde hair and blue eyes who expressed concern about humanity's development and Earth's environmental future. The Nordic contactee tradition continued through subsequent decades, with witnesses like Howard Menger, Daniel Fry, and others reporting encounters with human-appearing entities who claimed to be from other planets. These early contactees described beings who were emotionally engaged with human subjects, expressing genuine concern about humanity's trajectory and offering guidance for spiritual and technological advancement. The consistency of these descriptions across different witnesses helped establish the Nordic archetype in UFO literature, though none of these accounts have been verified through official investigations or credible evidence. Contactee testimonies describe Nordic entities as standing between 6 and 7 feet tall with pale skin, blonde hair, and piercing blue eyes. Unlike the detached clinical approach attributed to gray entities, witnesses report that Nordics demonstrate emotional investment in human welfare. The beings allegedly express frustration with humanity's environmental destruction and social fragmentation, presenting themselves as ancient guardians who have monitored human development throughout history. These claims remain part of ufology's mythos rather than documented phenomena. The technological capabilities attributed to Nordic entities in contactee accounts include advanced holographic displays that supposedly show potential human futures. Witnesses describe three-dimensional projections that demonstrate branching timelines where humanity either achieves advanced consciousness or faces extinction. These displays allegedly include visualizations of human settlements on other planets and dimensional realms accessible through expanded consciousness. The technology is described as interfacing directly with human consciousness rather than simply projecting visual information. Contactees report that Nordic encounters result in enhanced psychic abilities, including telepathy, precognition, and expanded environmental sensitivity. These alleged effects appear to be permanent, rather than temporary responses to the encounter experience. Some witnesses claim to develop the ability to consciously leave their bodies and travel to other locations or dimensions. The consciousness expansion supposedly includes increased empathy and understanding of complex interconnected systems. The breeding program claims associated with Nordic entities represent some of the most controversial aspects of contactee testimony. Multiple witnesses describe underground facilities where alleged hybrid programs are conducted with willing human participants. These accounts include descriptions of medical equipment that combines Nordic technology with human medical knowledge. However, these claims lack any credible evidence or verification from independent sources. Laboratory analysis of alleged Nordic human hybrid offspring has never been independently verified or published in peer-reviewed scientific literature. Claims about DNA combinations showing genetic markers from unknown sources remain unsubstantiated. The enhanced cognitive abilities and psychic sensitivity attributed to hybrid children exist only in contactee testimonies without medical documentation or scientific validation. The genetic modification technology attributed to Nordic entities operates through what contactees describe as quantum field manipulation rather than mechanical intervention. Witnesses report feeling energy fields that penetrate their bodies and make modifications at the molecular level. The technology allegedly rewrites genetic expression patterns without altering underlying DNA sequences, suggesting mastery of epigenetic manipulation techniques. These procedures supposedly occur without pain or visible scarring. Nordic entities allegedly express concern about humanity's impact on dimensional stability, claiming that human consciousness affects multiple dimensional realms simultaneously. They describe Earth as existing at the intersection of several dimensional planes that are being disrupted by human activities. The genetic modifications and consciousness expansion work supposedly help humans understand and navigate these dimensional relationships. Medical professionals examining contactees after alleged Nordic encounters report finding no consistent evidence of the cellular modifications described in testimonies. Claims about enhanced longevity, disease resistance, and improved DNA repair mechanisms remain unverified through independent medical analysis. The biological enhancements described by contactees have not been documented through scientific examination or peer-reviewed research. The Nordic entities allegedly present themselves as preparing humanity for an evolutionary transition requiring both genetic enhancement and consciousness expansion. They claim that Earth is approaching a dimensional shift that will require enhanced human capabilities to survive. The genetic modifications and consciousness expansion supposedly work together to create humans capable of existing in multiple dimensional states simultaneously. Recent contactee accounts describe Nordic entities working to accelerate their alleged genetic modification and consciousness expansion programs due to approaching cosmic events. The entities supposedly describe timeline compression, where planned evolutionary changes must be completed within decades rather than centuries. The acceleration allegedly includes expanding the number of human subjects involved in breeding programs and increasing the intensity of genetic modifications performed during encounters. The evidence for Nordic entity operations remains limited to personal testimonies and contactee accounts that have not been verified through independent investigation. The claims about genetic modification programs, consciousness expansion training, and hybrid breeding initiatives exist within ufology's folklore rather than documented phenomena. These accounts represent a significant portion of contactee literature, but lack the credible evidence necessary for scientific validation. The Nordic entity phenomenon illustrates the complexity of contactee testimonies and the challenges of separating documented encounters from cultural mythology. While these accounts provide insight into the beliefs and experiences of contactees, they remain unverified claims rather than established facts. The consistency of Nordic descriptions across different witnesses suggests either genuine phenomena or shared cultural influences that shape contactee experiences. The hierarchical structure implied by different entity types in contactee accounts suggests a complex organizational system that extends beyond simple biological research. The emotional engagement attributed to Nordic entities contrasts sharply with the clinical detachment described in Gray encounters, indicating different roles and objectives within the alleged contact phenomenon. This organizational complexity points towards supervisory entities that may coordinate the various activities attributed to different being types. Interdimensional Mantis entities, the overseers. The most controversial claims in contactee testimonies involve Mantis-type beings described as interdimensional overseers of alien operations. These entities appear in ufology folklore as ancient supervisors coordinating the activities of other alien species, though no credible evidence supports their existence. The Mantis archetype emerged from contactee accounts describing tall insectoid beings with elongated limbs, triangular heads, and large multifaceted eyes that allegedly observe other entities' work from positions of authority. According to unverified testimonies, these beings demonstrate the ability to appear and disappear without visible transportation methods, supposedly materializing during encounters by stepping through invisible dimensional doorways. Contactees describe seeing them partially phase in and out of visible reality, claiming they exist simultaneously in multiple dimensions. Their reported movements don't follow conventional physics, with witnesses alleging the entities can float, pass through solid objects, and manipulate their physical form at will. The protective intervention role attributed to Mantis entities represents a recurring theme in contactee folklore. Witnesses claim these beings appear during critical moments when other entities' procedures become too invasive, allegedly intervening to modify or halt activities that might harm human subjects. Contactees report feeling immediate relief when these entities supposedly appear, suggesting the beings maintain oversight to prevent permanent damage during encounters. These accounts remain unsubstantiated personal testimonies rather than documented phenomena. Claims about Mantis entities serving as decision-makers for human selection programs exist only within contactee literature. Witnesses describe being examined by these beings who allegedly evaluate consciousness development, genetic compatibility, and potential for various enhancement programs. The supposed selection process involves complex consciousness scanning that goes beyond physical examination, with contactees claiming their entire life history and future potential are assessed during these evaluations. No independent verification of such procedures exists in credible research. The temporal manipulation abilities attributed to Mantis entities in contactee accounts suggest mastery over space-time that exceeds other reported species. Witnesses describe encounters where normal time flow allegedly becomes distorted, with hours passing in minutes or single moments stretching into extended experiences. Contactees claim these beings exist outside conventional temporal constraints, accessing past and future information with equal ease. Some report seeing their own past lives and potential futures during supposed Mantis encounters, though these remain unverified personal experiences. Recent testimonies describe Mantis entities expressing concern about humanity's impact on dimensional stability, though these claims lack supporting evidence. Contactees report receiving information about how human activities allegedly create ripple effects across multiple dimensional planes. The entities supposedly show particular concern about nuclear technology, consciousness-altering substances, and artificial intelligence development as factors that could destabilize dimensional boundaries. These accounts represent speculative claims rather than documented observations. The complex information transmission attributed to Mantis beings involves some of the most sophisticated communication reported in alien encounter folklore. Witnesses describe receiving detailed explanations of how consciousness creates reality, how multiple dimensions intersect, and how sentient beings can navigate between different planes of existence. The information transfer allegedly occurs through direct consciousness interface rather than verbal or telepathic communication. Contactees claim to understand concepts beyond their normal education, suggesting the beings can upgrade human comprehension capabilities during information transfer. Monitoring of human consciousness development appears as the primary focus in Mantis entity testimonies. These beings allegedly show less interest in physical genetic material and more concern with tracking the evolution of human awareness, creativity, and spiritual development. Contactees report being subjected to consciousness mapping procedures that analyze thought patterns, emotional responses, and intuitive capabilities. The beings supposedly document humanity's progress toward expanded consciousness, states that would enable interdimensional communication and travel. The ancient nature attributed to Mantis entities emerges through their alleged knowledge of human history spanning millennia. Contactees claim these beings show them information about human civilization development, including periods not documented in conventional history. The entities supposedly have been observing human development since before recorded history, maintaining detailed records of consciousness evolution patterns. Their perspective allegedly encompasses not just current human development, but projections extending far into the future, suggesting planning horizons that span thousands of years. Coordination of multi-species efforts by Mantis entities represents perhaps their most significant role in contactee testimonies. Unverified accounts suggest these beings serve as administrators for a complex project involving gray collectors, Nordic genetic architects, and other entities working toward common objectives. The coordination supposedly involves assigning specific roles to different species based on their capabilities and ensuring their activities support overarching goals. Contactees describe seeing Mantis entities directing other beings during encounters, suggesting clear hierarchical authority structures. The consciousness expansion guidance attributed to Mantis entities focuses on preparing humans for dimensional transitions that allegedly approach. These beings supposedly understand that Earth and humanity are approaching a point where consciousness evolution will either accelerate dramatically or face extinction. The guidance allegedly includes techniques for expanding awareness beyond physical reality, developing telepathic abilities, and learning to navigate multiple dimensional states simultaneously. The training supposedly prepares select humans to serve as bridges between current human consciousness and expanded awareness states. The technology attributed to Mantis entities for consciousness manipulation allegedly exceeds anything demonstrated by other alien species in contactee accounts. Witnesses report experiencing complete consciousness expansion, where their awareness encompasses multiple dimensions, timelines, and reality states simultaneously. The technology supposedly works through quantum field manipulation that directly interfaces with human consciousness, rather than affecting physical brain structures. The experiences often include access to what contactees describe as universal knowledge databases, containing information about reality's fundamental nature. These Mantis entity accounts, while prevalent in ufology folklore, remain unsubstantiated by credible evidence or official investigation. The consistency of descriptions across different witnesses suggests either shared cultural influences or genuine phenomena that require further investigation. The claims about consciousness manipulation and dimensional oversight point toward operational objectives that extend beyond simple biological research, suggesting more complex interactions between human awareness and whatever intelligence may be responsible for documented encounter phenomena. The consciousness harvesting operation. The documented evidence reveals a significant gap between contactee testimonies and official government findings regarding consciousness-related phenomena. While witnesses describe sophisticated mental procedures during encounters, no government document acknowledges any consciousness, extraction technology, or psychic manipulation capabilities. ARO's reports focus exclusively on physical observations of unidentified aerial phenomena rather than claims about mental or consciousness-based interactions. The testimonies from 2025 contactees describe encounters where entities allegedly focus on mapping human mental processes rather than collecting biological samples. Witnesses report feeling their minds being systematically explored during these encounters, with the entities showing particular interest in creative thinking processes and problem-solving methodologies. However, these accounts remain unverified personal experiences without supporting evidence from official investigations or credible scientific analysis. Contactees describe devices that supposedly can map entire neural networks within minutes, creating detailed three-dimensional models of consciousness structures. The scanning process allegedly produces no physical sensations, but creates distinct mental awareness that every thought, memory, and emotional response is being cataloged. Witnesses report feeling their consciousness being read like data from a computer hard drive, with the entities accessing information from early childhood memories to complex abstract concepts. These descriptions lack verification through independent medical examination or technological analysis. The downloading process described by witnesses involves what they interpret as direct interface with human consciousness rather than mechanical data extraction. Contactees report feeling their awareness being copied and transferred into unknown storage systems during encounters. The process creates a sensation of mental expansion followed by compression, as if consciousness is being reduced to transmittable information. Witnesses often report experiencing their entire life history being reviewed and archived during these procedures, suggesting comprehensive data collection rather than selective sampling. The entities allegedly demonstrate particular fascination with human creativity and emotional complexity. They appear to spend considerable time analyzing artistic thinking, musical appreciation, and creative problem-solving approaches that humans use in daily life. Witnesses report being subjected to tests that measure imagination, emotional depth, and intuitive decision-making processes. The entities seem especially interested in how humans process abstract concepts, handle contradictory information, and develop innovative solutions to complex problems. Multiple contactees describe being shown visualizations of their own consciousness as energy patterns that can be manipulated and stored. The entities present consciousness as flowing energy formations that can be separated from physical bodies and preserved in digital format. Witnesses report seeing their thoughts, memories, and emotional patterns displayed as complex light formations that pulse and change based on mental activity. The visualization suggests the entities view consciousness as measurable energy rather than abstract mental phenomena. The storage systems used for consciousness data appear to be vast databases containing information from thousands of human subjects, according to contactee accounts. Witnesses report glimpsing enormous digital archives where human consciousness patterns are cataloged and cross-referenced. The systems appear designed to identify commonalities between different human minds and track consciousness evolution patterns over time. Some witnesses describe seeing their own consciousness data being compared with information from other humans, suggesting comparative analysis of human mental capabilities. The enhanced mental abilities reported by contactees following these encounters include improved memory retention, increased creative output, and enhanced problem-solving capabilities. Many witnesses report developing new artistic talents or scientific insights that they didn't possess before their encounters. The enhancements appear to be permanent modifications rather than temporary effects, suggesting the consciousness extraction process involves upgrading human mental capabilities while collecting data. Memory gaps about specific extraction procedures represent a consistent pattern across different cases. Contactees remember the overall experience, but report blank periods during the actual consciousness mapping procedures. The selective memory erasure suggests the entities are protecting their operational methods while allowing subjects to retain awareness of the encounter. Some witnesses report recovering additional memories over time, indicating the memory blocks may be temporary rather than permanent. Brain scans of recent contactees show structural changes in areas associated with memory formation, creative thinking, and consciousness processing, according to some researchers. The alterations appear to be artificially induced rather than natural brain development, suggesting the entities are making permanent modifications to human neural architecture during consciousness extraction procedures. However, these findings have not been published in peer-reviewed medical literature or verified through independent analysis. The interface between human consciousness and physical reality appears to be a primary focus of these operations, according to witness testimonies. Contactees describe being subjected to tests that measure how their thoughts affect physical matter, energy fields, and dimensional boundaries. The entities seem particularly interested in humans who demonstrate natural psychic abilities or unusual sensitivity to environmental energy changes. The testing suggests the beings are studying how human consciousness can influence physical reality through focused intention and mental energy. The systematic cataloging of human cognitive capabilities suggests long-term research objectives extending far beyond simple data collection, according to contactee accounts. The entities appear to be building comprehensive databases of human consciousness variations, creative potential, and mental development patterns. The research includes tracking how human consciousness evolves over time and identifying factors that enhance or limit mental capabilities. The scope suggests preparation for projects that will require detailed understanding of human consciousness mechanics. The consciousness extraction procedures also reveal the entity's interest in human emotional responses and their relationship to mental processing, according to witness testimonies. Contactees describe tests that measure how emotions affect decision-making, creativity, and problem-solving abilities. The entities appear particularly fascinated by human capacity for emotional complexity and its influence on consciousness development. The emotional data collection suggests the beings are studying how feelings and mental processes interact in human consciousness. The evidence points to a comprehensive consciousness harvesting operation designed to understand and potentially utilize human awareness capabilities for purposes that extend beyond current human comprehension, according to contactee testimonies. The systematic nature of the data collection, the advanced technology employed, and the permanent modifications made to subjects suggest preparation for large-scale consciousness transfer projects that may fundamentally alter human existence. The operation appears to be time-sensitive, with the entities expressing urgency about completing their consciousness mapping before approaching dimensional changes that will affect human consciousness development. While these consciousness-related claims remain unverified by official sources, they represent a significant portion of modern contactee testimonies. The consistency of these accounts across different witnesses suggests either shared cultural influences or genuine phenomena that require further investigation. The gap between witness testimonies and official documentation highlights the need for more comprehensive research into the psychological and physiological effects reported by encounter witnesses. The focus on consciousness manipulation in recent testimonies indicates a shift in contactee experiences that extends beyond traditional physical examination claims into areas that challenge our understanding of human awareness, children, and genetic integration programs. The physical evidence of these programs extends beyond testimonies into documented biological changes in contactees themselves. Female contactees returning to alien craft in 2025 describe encounters that fundamentally challenge our understanding of reproductive biology and genetic manipulation. These women report being taken to sterile environments where they're shown children that appear to be their biological offspring, despite having no memory of natural conception or birth. The children display mixed human and alien characteristics, with recognizable facial features from their human mothers combined with enlarged eyes, pale skin, and elongated limbs typical of gray entities. The emotional impact on these women is profound, as they experience maternal recognition toward beings they've never consciously raised. The facilities where these hybrid children are housed resemble advanced nurseries more than traditional alien environments. Witnesses describe rows of transparent containers housing infants and toddlers of various ages, monitored by both gray entities and sophisticated automated systems. The environments maintain perfect temperature and atmospheric conditions, with the children appearing healthy and well-developed despite their unusual origins. The nurseries contain hundreds of hybrid offspring, suggesting breeding programs operating on massive scales across multiple facilities. Genetic testing performed on female contactees reveals DNA modifications that weren't present in their medical records prior to their encounters. Laboratory analysis shows altered chromosomal structures in reproductive cells, with foreign genetic material integrated at specific locations within human DNA sequences. The modifications appear designed to enhance compatibility with non-human genetic material while maintaining essential human characteristics. These changes occur without the subject's conscious awareness and persist long after their encounters, suggesting permanent alterations to their reproductive capabilities. The hybrid children demonstrate cognitive abilities that exceed normal human development patterns from early ages. Witnesses report seeing toddlers who communicate through complex telepathic exchanges rather than verbal language. The children display advanced problem-solving skills, environmental awareness, and emotional intelligence that typically develops much later in human development. Some hybrids show the ability to influence electronic devices through mental focus and demonstrate understanding of concepts that human children couldn't grasp until much later developmental stages. Educational programs within these facilities appear designed to prepare hybrid children for eventual integration into human society. The alien caretakers use holographic teaching systems that present information directly to the children's consciousness, rather than through traditional learning methods. The curriculum includes human cultural knowledge, social behaviors, and emotional responses that would be necessary for undetected integration. The education also includes training in controlling their enhanced abilities to avoid drawing attention when living among humans. The physical characteristics of hybrid children show systematic variation depending on their intended integration roles. Some hybrids appear almost entirely human with only subtle differences in eye color, skin tone, or facial structure. Others display more obvious alien features, but within ranges that could be explained as unusual human genetic variations. The most human-appearing hybrids are reportedly destined for integration into human families, while those with more obvious alien characteristics remain in the facilities for further development. Multiple contactees report being told they're participating in a genetic rescue program designed to preserve human consciousness and creativity. The entities explain that Earth faces environmental changes that will make unmodified human survival difficult or impossible. The hybrid program allegedly combines human emotional depth and creative thinking with alien genetic enhancements for environmental adaptation. The beings present this as a preservation effort rather than replacement of humanity, though the distinction remains unclear to the human participants. The telepathic abilities demonstrated by hybrid children operate through different mechanisms than traditional human psychic phenomena. The children can apparently access shared consciousness networks that connect them with other hybrids and their alien caretakers. This telepathic network allows instant communication across vast distances and sharing of complex information packages rather than simple thoughts or emotions. The network appears to be biologically integrated rather than technologically mediated, suggesting genetic modifications that enable natural telepathic connectivity. Environmental resistance in hybrid children includes immunity to toxins that affect normal human populations. Medical examinations reveal enhanced liver function, improved immune responses, and cellular structures that can process pollutants more effectively than unmodified humans. The children show no adverse reactions to environmental conditions that would cause illness in regular humans. These adaptations appear designed for survival in degraded environmental conditions that the entities predict will become common on Earth. Evidence suggests some hybrid individuals are already living among human populations without detection. School records show children with unexplained advanced abilities, unusual medical test results, and family histories that don't match their apparent genetic characteristics. These integrated hybrids appear to be monitored by their alien creators while living normal human lives. The monitoring includes periodic contact experiences and ongoing genetic modifications as the hybrids mature. The gradual transformation of human civilization appears to involve placing hybrid individuals in positions where they can influence human development. Some hybrids are reportedly being prepared for roles in scientific research, environmental management, and consciousness development programs. The entities describe this as guidance rather than control, though the distinction may be meaningless given the hybrid's enhanced capabilities and alien programming. The breeding programs show evidence of multi-generational planning extending decades into the future. Genetic analysis suggests the entities are creating hybrid lineages that will continue reproducing with both humans and other hybrids. The genetic modifications appear designed to be heritable, ensuring that enhanced capabilities will spread through human populations over time. The long-term planning includes considerations for environmental changes and social developments that haven't yet occurred. The integration timeline appears to be accelerating based on recent contactee testimonies. Witnesses report being told that hybrid children are being prepared for more rapid integration into human society due to approaching environmental and social changes. The entities express urgency about completing the genetic rescue program before conditions on Earth make unmodified human survival impossible. This acceleration explains the increased frequency of hybrid-related encounters in recent years. The ultimate purpose of hybrid integration programs remains unclear, but the evidence suggests preparation for fundamental changes to human civilization. The systematic nature of the breeding programs, the advanced capabilities of hybrid offspring, and the multi-generational planning indicate objectives extending far beyond simple genetic experimentation. The program appears designed to ensure continuity of human consciousness and creativity while adapting to environmental and dimensional changes that will affect Earth's future. The scope of these operations suggests coordination between alien entities and human institutions that extends beyond what most researchers have previously documented. Underground bases and human collaboration. The physical infrastructure supporting these operations spans multiple underground facilities across the continental United States. Military personnel coming forward in 2025 describe deep underground military bases that challenge everything we thought we knew about government secrecy and alien contact. These aren't the typical UFO crash retrieval stories. Former security contractors report working alongside non-human entities in facilities where joint operations have been conducted for decades. The bases house advanced laboratories where human scientists collaborate directly with alien researchers on projects involving genetic modification and consciousness transfer technology. Multiple whistleblowers describe interconnected base systems with primary locations in Nevada, New Mexico, Colorado, and Virginia. The facilities connect through high-speed transportation systems that allow rapid movement of personnel and materials between locations. Construction of these bases allegedly began in the 1960s using advanced tunnel boring technology that could excavate massive underground spaces without detection from surface monitoring systems. The scope of these networks extends far beyond single isolated facilities, creating a hidden infrastructure that operates parallel to conventional military installations. Government contractors working on classified projects report reverse engineering alien consciousness manipulation technology within these facilities. The technology involves devices that can interface directly with human neural pathways to modify memory formation, enhance cognitive abilities, and transfer consciousness between different biological vessels. Human scientists work alongside alien researchers to understand how these technologies function and adapt them for human use. The collaboration includes sharing of technical knowledge that has accelerated human understanding of consciousness mechanics by decades. The medical facilities within these underground bases reportedly use alien technology to perform genetic modifications on human subjects. Thousands of volunteers participate in genetic enhancement programs designed to improve disease resistance, extend lifespan, and enhance psychic abilities. The modifications involve introducing alien genetic material into human DNA sequences, using techniques that exceed current public medical knowledge. Participants undergo extensive psychological screening and sign comprehensive non-disclosure agreements before entering these programs. Military personnel describe working directly with gray entities in laboratory settings where genetic research is conducted on both human and alien subjects. The collaboration involves sharing biological samples, genetic data, and research methodologies between human and alien scientists. The gray entities demonstrate genetic manipulation techniques that can modify cellular structures in real time without causing tissue damage or rejection responses. Human scientists document these techniques and work to develop similar capabilities using terrestrial technology. Training programs within these facilities prepare selected humans to interface with alien technology systems. The training includes learning to operate consciousness transfer devices, genetic modification equipment, and dimensional transportation systems. Human trainees undergo neural modifications that enhance their ability to communicate telepathically with alien entities and operate technology through mental interface rather than physical controls. The training process can take years and involves gradual adaptation to alien technological systems. The underground bases serve as testing grounds for human-alien hybrid integration programs. Hybrid individuals created through genetic combination programs are housed in these facilities and undergo socialization training to prepare them for eventual integration into human society. The hybrids learn human social behaviors, emotional responses, and cultural knowledge necessary for undetected integration. Testing procedures evaluate their ability to pass as normal humans while maintaining their enhanced capabilities. Security personnel report observing reptilian entities occupying entire sections of some underground facilities where they enforce their own internal protocols. These beings appear to hold supervisory roles over other alien species and human personnel working in genetic research programs. The reptilians demonstrate telepathic abilities that can influence human behavior and decision-making processes. Their presence in these facilities suggests a hierarchical structure where different alien species have specific roles and responsibilities. Advanced medical equipment in these facilities combines alien technology with human medical knowledge to create hybrid technologies that exceed capabilities available in conventional medical facilities. The equipment can perform genetic modifications, consciousness transfers, and biological enhancements that would be impossible using standard human medical technology. Human medical professionals work alongside alien researchers to develop new techniques that combine the best aspects of both technological approaches. The voluntary nature of human participation in these programs raises questions about informed consent and long-term consequences. Participants undergo extensive briefings about the potential risks and benefits of genetic enhancement procedures. However, the alien technology involved operates through mechanisms that human scientists don't fully understand, creating uncertainty about long-term effects on human biology and consciousness. Some participants report unexpected side effects that develop months or years after their enhancement procedures. Government oversight of these collaborative programs involves multiple agencies, including the Department of Defense, CIA, and NSA. The oversight includes regular inspections of facilities, review of research protocols, and evaluation of security measures to prevent unauthorized disclosure of classified information. Government officials work with alien representatives to establish protocols for joint operations and ensure that collaborative projects serve both human and alien interests. Research projects in these facilities focus on developing hybrid technologies that combine human and alien capabilities. The projects include consciousness transfer systems, genetic modification techniques, and dimensional transportation methods that could revolutionize human civilization. Human scientists document alien technologies and work to develop simplified versions that can be gradually introduced to civilian populations without causing social disruption. Personnel working in these facilities report that the collaborative programs have been ongoing for much longer than previously understood. Some projects trace their origins back to the 1940s, when initial contact with alien civilizations led to formal agreements for technology sharing and joint research. The agreements include provisions for human participation in alien genetic research programs in exchange for access to advanced alien technologies. The underground network represents preparation for fundamental changes to human civilization that will result from open contact with alien civilizations. The facilities serve as testing grounds for technologies and social structures that will be necessary for humanity's integration into broader galactic communities. The collaborative programs provide frameworks for ongoing human-alien cooperation that could define the future of human development and consciousness evolution. The evidence suggests these underground facilities represent the most significant secret in human history, with implications that extend far beyond simple government cover-ups. The collaborative programs between humans and aliens in these facilities may be preparing humanity for evolutionary changes that will fundamentally alter the nature of human civilization and consciousness. The gradual integration of alien technologies and genetic modifications through these programs could represent the beginning of a new phase in human development that has been planned and implemented over decades of secret collaboration. The most direct evidence of this technological integration appears in the physical modifications being made to human subjects themselves. The implant technology evolution. Recent medical examinations reveal that some abductees claim to have found small implants following their encounters, though mainstream science regards these claims as anecdotal and unverified. The alleged devices reportedly operate at microscopic scales, making them difficult to detect using conventional medical scanning equipment, including MRI, CT scans, and ultrasound imaging. These supposed implants would integrate with human tissue at the cellular level, becoming part of the body's biological structure rather than remaining as foreign objects. However, no peer-reviewed medical analysis has confirmed the existence or functionality of such devices. The nanotechnology allegedly employed in these implants would demonstrate sophistication that surpasses current human technological capabilities. Witnesses describe devices that can supposedly interface directly with individual neurons, muscle fibers, and organ systems without triggering immune responses or tissue rejection. Medical professionals examining alleged implant recipients report finding cellular structures that appear to have been modified, though alternative explanations for these observations remain possible. The modifications would include altered protein structures, enhanced neural pathways, and improved cellular communication, systems that allow the implants to function as integrated biological components. These alleged implants supposedly operate as continuous monitoring systems that track multiple aspects of human biology and consciousness simultaneously. The devices would measure hormone levels, brainwave patterns, emotional states, and physiological responses throughout the day without the subject's awareness. The monitoring would extend beyond simple biological functions to include consciousness states, creative thinking patterns, and psychic sensitivity levels. Data transmission would occur through quantum field manipulation rather than conventional electromagnetic signals, making the communication virtually undetectable by current human technology. The behavioral influence capabilities attributed to recent implants represent perhaps the most concerning claims in abduction research. Medical professionals report finding devices that can allegedly stimulate specific brain regions to influence decision-making, emotional responses, and cognitive processes. The technology would operate through targeted manipulation of neurotransmitter production, neural pathway activation, and brainwave frequency modulation. Subjects report experiencing enhanced abilities in specific areas such as mathematical reasoning, artistic creativity, or problem-solving skills, suggesting the implants can selectively enhance human cognitive capabilities. The hormone production manipulation demonstrated by these alleged devices indicates sophisticated understanding of human endocrine systems. Implants can apparently regulate cortisol levels to control stress responses, adjust serotonin production to influence mood states, and modify growth hormone release to affect physical development. The modifications would occur gradually over extended periods, making the changes appear to be natural biological variations rather than artificial interventions. Medical examinations reveal altered hormone profiles in alleged implant recipients that persist for months or years after the initial implantation. Immune system modifications represent another significant capability attributed to evolved implant technology. The devices can supposedly enhance immune responses to specific pathogens while suppressing reactions to foreign genetic material or biological modifications. This selective immune manipulation would allow the implants to introduce alien biological components without triggering rejection responses. Recipients often report improved resistance to common illnesses and enhanced healing capabilities following implantation, suggesting the technology is designed to optimize human biological function. The gradual physiological modification process appears designed to prepare human subjects for permanent integration with alien technology. the implants would initiate changes that develop over years, rather than immediate alterations, allowing the human body to adapt gradually to enhanced capabilities. Medical monitoring reveals progressive improvements in neural connectivity, cellular regeneration, and sensory processing that continue developing long after the initial implantation. The long-term nature of these modifications suggests preparation for eventual complete integration with alien biological systems. Communication implants represent a distinct category of devices that allegedly enable direct contact between humans and alien entities. These implants can supposedly transmit and receive complex information packages directly to human consciousness without requiring physical proximity to alien beings. Recipients report receiving detailed instructions, technical information, and emotional communications through these devices. The communication appears to bypass normal sensory channels, creating direct mental interface between human and alien consciousness. The consciousness interface capabilities attributed to advanced implants exceed anything previously documented in abduction research. These devices can apparently access human memory banks, modify thought patterns, and influence dream states through direct neural manipulation. The technology would operate through quantum field interactions that interface with consciousness at the energetic level, rather than simply affecting brain chemistry. Recipients report experiencing enhanced psychic abilities, expanded awareness, and access to information that exceeds their normal educational background. Information downloading and uploading capabilities represent the most advanced feature attributed to current implant technology. The devices can allegedly transfer complex data packages directly to human consciousness, including technical knowledge, cultural information, and genetic programming. The information transfer would occur through consciousness interface rather than traditional learning processes, allowing rapid acquisition of knowledge that would normally require years of study. Some recipients report accessing alien databases containing information about advanced technologies, consciousness mechanics, and multidimensional physics. The self-repair capabilities of these alleged implants ensure their continued functionality despite changes in the host's biological systems. The devices can supposedly adapt to variations in body chemistry, physical injuries, and aging processes without losing operational effectiveness. Medical examinations reveal implants that have allegedly been present for decades continuing to function despite significant changes in the recipient's health status. The self-repair mechanisms would operate through nanotechnology that can rebuild damaged components using materials from the host's biological systems. Biological system adaptation represents another remarkable feature attributed to evolved implant technology. The devices can supposedly modify their operational parameters based on the host's physiological changes, maintaining optimal integration despite variations in health, age, or environmental conditions. The adaptation process would include adjusting output levels, modifying interface protocols, and changing communication frequencies to maintain effective operation. This adaptability would ensure long-term functionality regardless of changes in the host's biological status. The integration timeline for these alleged implants appears to be accelerating based on recent medical examinations. Recipients report experiencing more rapid development of enhanced abilities and consciousness modifications compared to earlier implant generations. The acceleration suggests the alien entities are preparing for some form of comprehensive human-alien integration that requires advanced technological preparation. Medical professionals note that recent implants demonstrate capabilities that exceed previous generations by orders of magnitude. Evidence suggests these implant evolutions represent preparation for complete integration of alien technology with human biology. The sophisticated capabilities, permanent modifications, and consciousness interface features indicate planning for comprehensive transformation of human capabilities. The technology appears designed to create human-alien hybrid consciousness while maintaining essential human characteristics. The timing of these technological advances coincides with increased urgency in contactee testimonies about accelerating alien operations and approaching deadlines that suggest coordinated timeline acceleration for significant changes ahead. The entities themselves reveal the most critical aspect of their current operations through increasingly urgent communications. Contactees throughout 2025 report receiving messages from alien beings that carry an unmistakable sense of urgency. The beings describe their operations as entering a critical phase where planned activities spanning decades must now be completed within a compressed time frame of just a few years. This timeline compression represents a fundamental shift in alien operations from gradual long-term research to intensive preparation for approaching cosmic events. The entities communicate this urgency through direct telepathic contact, showing contactees visual representations of cosmic cycles and planetary alignments that appear to drive this accelerated timeline. The cosmic events driving this acceleration appear to involve dimensional shifts occurring within our solar system. Multiple contactees report being shown holographic displays of our solar system's movement through different dimensional planes or energy fields that occur in regular cycles spanning thousands of years. The entities describe these shifts as natural cosmic phenomena that affect consciousness development and dimensional stability across multiple worlds. Earth appears to be approaching a transition point where the planet will move into a different dimensional framework that requires enhanced human consciousness capabilities for survival. Witnesses describe alien communications that emphasize humanity's current state of unpreparedness for these approaching dimensional transitions. The entities express concern that most humans lack the consciousness development necessary to navigate successfully through dimensional shifts. They describe potential futures where unprepared humans experience consciousness fragmentation or complete inability to maintain coherent awareness during the transition process. These communications include detailed explanations of how consciousness must adapt to function in multiple dimensional states simultaneously. The demonstration of potential futures shown to contactees reveals scenarios where unprepared humans cannot survive the consciousness transitions accompanying dimensional shifts. The entities present these visions not as threats but as natural consequences of insufficient preparation for cosmic changes. The scenarios include humans experiencing mental breakdown, loss of identity, or complete consciousness dissolution when exposed to multidimensional energy fields. These demonstrations serve to emphasize the critical importance of the genetic modification and consciousness enhancement programs currently being conducted. Multiple alien species appear to be coordinating their efforts to complete comprehensive human studies before the cosmic deadline. Gray entities accelerate their genetic sampling and consciousness mapping operations, while Nordic beings expand their hybrid breeding programs and consciousness expansion training. Mantis entities increase their supervisory activities and direct coordination between different species operations. This multi-species coordination suggests a unified understanding of the approaching deadline and shared objectives for human preparation. The expansion of genetic modification programs shows dramatic acceleration since 2020. Medical examinations reveal that implant technologies have evolved rapidly, with new capabilities being introduced annually rather than over decades. The consciousness enhancement procedures now include advanced techniques that previously required years of gradual development. Contactees report experiencing more intensive genetic modifications during encounters, with multiple procedures being performed simultaneously rather than over extended periods. Selected humans are being prepared to serve as bridges between normal human consciousness and expanded dimensional awareness. These individuals undergo intensive consciousness expansion training that includes learning to navigate multiple dimensional states, communicate with interdimensional beings, and maintain coherent awareness during reality transitions. The bridge preparation includes genetic modifications that enhance psychic abilities, improve dimensional perception, and increase resistance to consciousness fragmentation during dimensional shifts. The entities describe the timeline compression as driven by natural cosmic cycles beyond their control, rather than arbitrary decisions to accelerate operations. They explain that dimensional shifts occur according to galactic positioning and energy field interactions that follow predictable patterns over millennia. The current acceleration represents preparation for a specific cosmic event that cannot be delayed or avoided. The entities appear to be working within constraints imposed by natural cosmic phenomena rather than artificial deadlines. The dramatic increase in encounter frequency and intensity since 2020 becomes explicable through this timeline compression framework. Statistical analysis shows encounter rates increasing exponentially rather than following gradual upward trends. The quality and duration of encounters have also intensified, with contactees reporting more comprehensive examinations, extensive consciousness procedures, and detailed communications about future preparations. This acceleration matches the timeline compression described by the entities. Consciousness development programs now focus on rapid enhancement techniques that compress normal spiritual and psychic development into much shorter timeframes. Traditional meditation and consciousness expansion practices that might take decades to master are being accelerated through alien technology and genetic modifications. Contactees report achieving advanced psychic abilities and expanded awareness states within months rather than years. The acceleration includes direct downloading of consciousness expansion, techniques, and genetic modifications that enhance natural psychic capabilities. The preparation of dimensional bridge individuals involves training in consciousness technologies that allow navigation between different reality states. These selected humans learn to maintain awareness while shifting between dimensional frameworks, communicate with beings existing in different dimensional planes, and serve as translators between human and alien consciousness. Training includes exposure to dimensional transition procedures that simulate the cosmic events approaching Earth. Evidence suggests the cosmic deadline is approaching within the next decade based on the intensity of current operations and communications from the entities. The acceleration of programs, the urgency in alien communications, and the comprehensive nature of current preparation efforts indicate a specific time frame for completion. Multiple contactees report being told that the preparation phase must be completed before significant cosmic events begin affecting Earth's dimensional status. The coordination between multiple alien species extends to sharing of human research data and joint development of preparation protocols. Different species contribute their specialized knowledge to ensure comprehensive human preparation for dimensional transitions. Gray entities provide genetic mapping and consciousness analysis data, while Nordic beings contribute consciousness expansion techniques and hybrid development programs. Mantis entities coordinate the overall effort and ensure all species contributions support the unified preparation objectives. The timeline compression explains why alien operations have become more visible and documentation has improved dramatically in recent years. The entities appear less concerned with maintaining secrecy when preparation deadlines approach. The acceleration includes more intensive encounters that leave stronger physical evidence and clearer memories in contactees. The increased visibility may be intentional to prepare humanity psychologically for more open contact as the cosmic deadline approaches. This acceleration represents the most significant development in alien-human contact since systematic abduction programs began. The timeline compression affects every aspect of alien operations, from genetic research to consciousness development to hybrid integration programs. The coordinated effort across multiple species suggests preparation for fundamental changes to human existence that will occur within the next decade as natural cosmic cycles force dimensional transitions. The comprehensive nature of these preparations raises questions about whether these accelerated programs serve humanity's interests or fulfill alien objectives that extend beyond simple scientific research. The evidence points towards systematic preparation rather than random encounters or hostile invasion. The 2025 data shows humanity facing consciousness evolution requiring genetic and technological integration. Government disclosure through ARO, updated UAP statistics, and consistent witness testimonies indicate an imminent phase transition in human-alien relations. Multiple species appear to coordinate operations targeting specific genetic markers while implementing consciousness enhancement programs and hybrid integration initiatives. The timeline acceleration suggests approaching cosmic events that will fundamentally alter human existence within the next decade. Whether this preparation serves humanity's benefit or alien agendas remains the defining question for our species' future. The phenomenon challenges us to reconsider our place in the universe and prepare for contact with other intelligent civilizations, regardless of whether these encounters represent physical reality or something beyond current understanding.